Hi. Yeah, I like that.
Hi, congrats on the win. Just talk about what's it been like here in these two matches against your rivals back-to-back nights and take them in straight sets.
It's been really tough, but we've been staying tough on each other in practice, which has basically brought us to just make sure that we're playing for ourselves and playing for each other. So yeah, that's really about it.
What did they show you tonight different than last night? That was a much more competitive match tonight.
I want to say I just feel like they really did the same thing. We just came out with more energy from the bench and on the court, and we just executed more than we did yesterday.
So to end the regular season undefeated in the American Athletic Conference, heading into the conference tournament next week, how's that sound? What's the confidence like in the locker room heading into next weekend?
It sounds great because we're back to back, and then we're going to the conference tournament. We're just ready, and we're just excited to just go out there and play our best and play our hearts out and just come back with another ring.
Describe what's it like playing with Anne-Marie Watson. You all helped build that wall defensively. What is that like learning from her? And obviously both of you just dominating with blocks.
Playing with Anne-Marie is so fun. Anne-Marie's like my best friend on the team. She coaches me, even coming in as a freshman. She was my role model. She mentored me. She taught me everything I know now, really.
Do you think you're playing your best volleyball right now? And what do you have to do to win the conference tournament?
Honestly, don't think we're playing our best ball right now. We're executing at the level that we need to, but there's always room for improvement. We can always get better. And that's
So as a player, last fall season gets suspended. COVID-19 is still up in the air, still very present. Looking back on the season now, what's it like that you're kind of towards the end of the tunnel here on this season? Of course, with a lot of volleyball still to play, but the regular season is done and you are undefeated in the conference. What are your feelings towards the process that you and your team have been through?
Now that we're in postseason, it's just 0-0 again. We're just starting over from the jump, and we just have to make our name for ourselves because at the end of the day, the season is over in postseason, and we just have to focus on winning.
Describe your game, where you feel you're at right now compared to when the season started. I know you got to feel you're a better player, but just describe your overall game right now, how you feel about it.
Overall, I feel like I've grown mentally and physically. I feel like that my level of execution has increased, and that's really with the help of Anne-Marie and my coaches.
Offensively, good balance there from your offense there. Talk about that balance offensively there. Pretty balanced out for 6 players between 6 and 9 kills.
Yeah, it's just balance. We're always trying to spread the ball, especially because their blockers like to shift a lot. So we just decided to execute and just balance the ball out.
Well, congrats on the win. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. All right, guys. Got on Anne-Marie Watson here.
Hey, y'all.
How's it going? Congrats on the win. What does it mean to get back-to-back wins against your rival?
It feels great. It really does. No other way to describe it.
Considering all that you have been through this season with COVID and stops and starts, how satisfying is it to celebrate this tonight?
It feels great just to know that we overcame so much adversity on and off the court with all the outside noise. It just feels really good to be able to see our hard work pay off and know that we're going to keep going and that we have more work to do.
Anne-Marie talked about you still have more work to do, but focusing on the regular season, finishing it perfect in the American Athletic Conference, how does it feel, that momentum right now heading into next weekend where you have a shot to play for another conference championship?
It feels good. It really does. But it's something that we're going to celebrate tonight. We're going to feel good about tonight. And then we know coming in Monday that we're back to work and we're going back at it again.
Talk about Chambers and her growth. You just heard her talk about you. She really, you meant a lot to her. And I mean, she's a great force there to deal with for the opponents. They're tough to battle. Talk about her game and how she helps the team.
She has done amazing these last 2 years. I love being able to see her grow and just know that she has so much more to do and she's going to be so amazing in the next 2 years. And it was just really exciting, and just seeing how well she's developed and just seeing how much she's killing it this season. It's great. I just love watching her. She's amazing.
What is it about these back-to-back matches, the second day? It seems to be much more competitive. What did they show you different, and how did you guys react differently tonight?
Yeah, it's different than kind of any other season because we're not used to playing back to back. And so it's kind of overnight, you're scrambling and you're trying to figure out, what are they going to do to come back and attack, or what are we going to do, and what do we have to keep doing or working on? And so it's just, I think, seeing it so quick and not having such a long break. And it's just kind of, right back at it. There's no break in between. You just got to scramble and figure it out.
Emery finished with 9 kills tonight, and I believe that 7 of those came in the second and third set. Was it just you getting more comfortable out there in those latter sets, or was there something that you adjusted to after the first set?
I think it was just kind of running our offense and, following our plan that we were doing. And so just executing more.
You had good balance offensively too, between 6 and 9 kills with 6 players. Talk about the balance in the offense.
It's great. It's something that our coaches have done amazing with all season. The balance is awesome. It's something that obviously we need so that you don't have, 6 hands in front of, one person every single game. It's good to know that we got people all across the net that are able to execute.
What's the challenge now with this conference tournament? The pressure, shortened period of time. Do you feel like you all are tested through this season and ready? And what do you need to do to come out with a win?
I think if we just keep working hard and we just get back into it Monday like we have been every single week, I think we'll be good. It's nothing we aren't used to. We have faced adversity before, and I think that, we'll be fine coming into it.
Does the fact that you've played on that court earlier this season, does that help you that you're familiar with that court, where some teams on the Western Division, for example, haven't played there this year?
Yeah, I think it helps a little bit, but at the same time, it's the same game. It's 6 people on, 6 versus 6, and it's just still volleyball. Sometimes the atmosphere does make a difference, but, at the same time, you just go out there and you play your game.
Emery, looking back on the season, is there one particular moment, one particular game, one particular set that really sticks out in your head over the last couple of months?
Oh God, you're putting me on the spot with this one. I just think the overall season has really stuck out because this has been such a unique season for us. We don't play in spring, and we've had to overcome so much with COVID and all the policies, and having to change at last minute and just having to adapt and be flexible. So I think just this season as a whole sticks out just because it's so different and unique. But as a team, we've all done great, and I think that we've adapted very well to what we've been given.
As a local kid, what is it about the venue that's such a home court advantage for you all? You've been a part of it now as a player, but I'm sure you've probably visited when, even prior to playing at UCF. What is it, an undefeated season here at the venue once again this year?
It's an amazing feeling, just knowing that, I grew up right down the road, born and raised here. It's a really good feeling to be able to kind of, be part of a team that's working hard and wanting to make our community and our town proud.
All right, guys, get on Tali, Marmen. Going fire away.
Well, congrats on the win. Just tell us about the match there and getting that win over your rivals for the second night in a row.
It was definitely a team effort. It was fun working with those girls. Everybody were fighting till the last ball. And yeah, we won 3-0.
What was different tonight than last night? Pretty competitive, especially those first 2 sets.
I think the other team did their scouting. They watched film. They saw where our weaknesses, what can they improve, and came back stronger tonight. But we did the exact same thing. Came stronger tonight. We knew they're gonna give up a good fight, but we did whatever the coaches told us and prepared us for, and it just worked.
Tali, team finished undefeated in the conference play this season. Heading into the conference tournament next week, what's the momentum like right now in the locker room?
Everybody are super hyped. Good energy, hungry for more. We're gonna compete for places 1 and 4, and hopefully we get another trophy. That's ours.
Describe your overall game, where it is right now compared to when the season started. How you feel about your game right now?
I came to a team that plays really competitive volleyball. They know they're the best. They want to stay at the top, and I did all I can do to kind of like get involved and like keep going up and push everybody up. And yeah, I think we're doing a good job. We won this time, and yeah, we're going for more.
So conference tournament now, what's the challenge of that? And what do you all have to do to prepare mentally for the grind that is a conference tournament?
For me personally, that would be first time participating in a conference tournament. I think that other girls have way more experience. They know what they're getting into. So I think it's all about sticking together, helping each other, bringing each other up, especially if you know what you're getting into, and one brings the other up, and that's what team does.
Tali, you said it right there. This is your first conference tournament, whereas other girls have been through this, they've experienced this. Who are some of the leaders in the locker room that you really look up to in a time like this, going into territory in the conference tournament that you haven't really seen before?
I would say whoever brings me up as on the court would definitely be the setter. The setters, when they're communicating, telling the hitters what they want from us, especially Amber, when she communicates with me, and she letting you know, you get this ball, now you get this kill. This is all I need to hear as a hitter.
All right. Thank you very much. Congrats on the win.
Thanks. Congrats.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, guys, coaches arrived. I apologize. I had to have a quick meeting, and it took a little bit longer than I wanted it to. I could not be more proud of a group of women, group of coaches, in what they went through. The last 13 months, 14 months has been beyond comprehension in terms of putting it into words. The ups and the downs, the mental and emotional toll that it takes on a team, on a program, on a staff, on a family. And yet, as we watch teams all across the country crack, fail, we never did. We never did. You know, if our blip on the map was a 5-game loss to a top 25 Florida State team, having to go up on a 4-hour bus ride and go play them because Miami canceled on us, you know, I guess that's our blip. Was that a match that we could have won? Sure, but I guess that's our blip. Other than that, we were tested, we were challenged, we had adversity, we had players out, we had sickness. I'm telling you, man, we faced every bit of it this year as a whole, this season as a part, and this weekend series. We had everything to lose this weekend. South Florida had everything to gain. They had an opportunity to possibly sneak into the second spot and go to the conference tournament. We already had our spot lined up. They could have got the war on I 4 points. Obviously, that's something that we want to do, but that's not our big goal. Our big goal was to run the table in conference, run the table out of conference if we could, came close to that, and put ourselves in a position where we had the #1 seed going in to the conference tournament. Now, as far as I'm concerned, we're undefeated. We're the only undefeated team in our conference. That makes us regular season champion as far as I'm concerned. Now, that means, you know, we're going to go to Cincinnati and we have to play in a tough tournament. The AAC, because there's only 16 at-large bids, AAC is probably on the outside looking in. And I think that's a disgrace, but that's the way it's going to be. Because You're going to see the more entitled programs who really didn't play anybody but themselves. You're going to see the bids get doled out that way, just because that's the way it is in Olympic sports. So we're going in it with the mindset that we have to win this championship to go on to the NCAA tournament. You know what? That fighting attitude that got us through COVID, that got us through spring training, that got us through a summer of question marks, that got us through a fall of cancellations, that got us through a spring. I mean, we have been on the razor's edge. You like to go through cycles of being on, off, on, off. On. We've been on the razor's edge for 13 months. And to see this team stand tall at the end, I could not be more proud of a group of women, a staff, families. I couldn't be more proud as a coach. This is one of those not only highlights of my time here at UCF, it's one of the highlights of my career. To see this group come together and stay together when so many teams across the country, big name teams, sweatshirt name teams, they cracked. We didn't. And I hope that we're able to put the games together next week in Cincinnati. Let's take a look at, got to get through Tulane. Good team. They found their way in. And then whoever's next. And, that's the trophy we want to hoist. It was okay hoisting a regular season trophy today. But a lot like the Stanley Cup, you don't touch the conference trophy. You touch the Stanley Cup. I didn't touch that trophy today. I'm glad the players did, though, because they earned it. They really did. They earned it. But we're bringing out the big tackle box now, and we're going after the big fish. And that's going to start on Monday. So I'm open to any questions anybody has.
You mentioned that Florida State match. How did that match change your team? Because a lot of teams, after a result like that, the way it occurred, could have, had a letdown, could have, messed their psyche. But it seemed like your team took it to a different gear after that.
They took it personally because they had that third set, I wouldn't say well in hand, but they had it in hand and they lost it. And then they went on to lose the fourth and obviously lose the fifth. I think they took it personally. And whereas a lot of teams might have said, well, we're just not good enough this year. We can't beat the big boys this year, whatever. It was like, no, let's get our butt back in the gym and get better. We know what we need to work on. And we did. We've been better since that loss, and we've continued to climb and be better. So much better to the point where we can go out and hit 384 on one night, like we did tonight, and 3 whatever yesterday, and not really be particularly happy with our performance. That's a pretty good sign of a team that's hungry and expects really high level results.
Talk about tonight. You were challenged from the get-go from them. They came out, they wanted this badly tonight.
They did. And we talked about this last night. We said this is their Super Bowl. We knocked them out of the conference tournament last night with our win. We knocked them out of any tie-breaking scenario. And so we knew that tonight was going to be their last match of the year. This was their Super Bowl. And they were going to bring it, and they absolutely brought it. I thought in that first set, we had all kinds of adversity. We had South Florida as adversity because I thought they played great. We made way too many errors. And then there was other adversity I'm not allowed to talk about because I need to buy groceries this week. But, you got to get over all kinds of adversity. And when it came right down to it, we had to execute at that 22-22, 23-23, and we did. We went out and we took it. We took it right out of their hands. And then I thought we built on from there. But that resilience in that first set, I remember Brian leaning into my ear saying, this is just going to be about resilience. That's all it's going to be is resilience. Who's got the guts? And you know what? We've been betting on our guts. We've been betting on ourselves all year long. We bet ourselves that's in that situation, and we won again. So,
Coach, you talked about that your team is not finished. That was a great holding up the trophy tonight for the girls. That you guys aren't finished. What are some particular things that you guys have to do moving on into next weekend to come out with another trophy?
Yeah, I think defensively, we've got to get better. It was something I talked about last night, and I was hoping that we would see it a little bit tonight. I thought we did in the second set, but I thought at times we really let South Florida take it to us, and we just weren't as sharp and as mentally disciplined as I'd like to see us be. I think it's something that we can flip the switch and get better at. We have to address it. We have to see it on film, and then we have to get in the gym and we just have to deal with it. It's like one of those things you don't talk about. You just have to get in there and deal with it. So defensively, blocking wise, I think those are areas that we have to get better at. We need to make sure that we are always holding our opponents' offense below their season averages, because we're not going to go out and hit close to 400 every night. We did it at Cincinnati. We did it here against South Florida, but we can't depend on that. We've got to depend on our block and our defense. That's what any sport, I don't care what it is, blocking defense wins championships.
The balance in your offense, you had 6 players between 6 and 9 kills. I know that's something you've been working on all year. You don't want to depend on McKenna. How do you feel about your offense and the balance and the growth of that here? I thought
there were too many times this year where we depended on 1 or 2 players, McKenna obviously being one of them. We came into tonight saying we're going to have as even of a distribution as possible, and I'm looking at the numbers now in terms of kills, and it was as even as I've seen all year, maybe longer. We did a fantastic job. Jenny called an unbelievable offensive match tonight, along with the setters, getting people into open space, getting kills. We didn't have a single double-digit kill person. I think one of my concerns was always going to be, Mac was named preseason conference player of the year. Well, she's not going to go out and have 7 points a night like a conference player of the year would, because that's not who we want to be. We want to have a lot of players with pretty equal numbers. And, Mac went out and got her 7 kills and just did her job. But Anne-Marie has 9, MaKenzie has 8. I mean, and have the best overall matches of their career tonight. That's really who we need to be. I mean, look at those stats and you tell me who you want to focus and figure out, who are you going to focus on this week? Look at that, because that's what we can do. We can be that balanced. And that was really important for us to show that we don't depend on 1 or 2 players. You can't just service here and take out a player and we can't go anywhere else. I was really proud of the distribution. I thought we showed that we are as offensively balanced as possible. If this was a football game, the run pass balance was 50-50. And, you had 300 yards in the air and 250 yards on the ground. That's what kind of game this was.
You look a bit prophetic having scheduled Tulane earlier now. What can you take from those matches earlier in the season?
Yeah, shocker. How about that? I think, we knew that they were likely going to be one of the top 2 teams. But the other thing, Tulane, they're very, what's the word I'm looking for? They're very chess match team. They're very strategic. Their coach is tremendous. And I thought if anybody could show us what our weaknesses were early, it would be Tulane. And I knew they were probably going to finish in the top 2 in their conference. Now, I didn't know that we end up matching up against each other later on. Now, we'll go back and look at the film, and hopefully it's not one of those situations where they learn a lot more about us than we learned about them. But having the 2 matches under our belt against them, on one hand, I think is a positive because we know we've had success against them. On the other hand, it's a negative because they're the one that's making all the adjustments, and we're just going to have to go out and be us and play us and adjust on the fly. To go undefeated with this scheduling format where you're playing the team back-to-back nights, 24 hours, back-to-back, tough to sweep a team that way, and to go undefeated at home at the venue, creating that, even if it's limited capacity, still be a tough place for teams to come in. Just talk about that, going undefeated at home in the venue and undefeated in conference with this scheduling format. if undefeated was easy, there'd be more than one undefeated team this year, and there's not. There's only one. And I don't know what happened with the Houston-Wichita match today yet. They might still be playing. Houston did win? Okay. So, they lost one. And going undefeated, I don't care. In conference, going undefeated is tough. It's only happened a couple times since I've been here where the conference champion was undefeated. So, you're facing all that adversity. You got your pick preseason number one, so it's score on your back. And ironically, what's happened is I don't think any team has gone undefeated when they were picked preseason number one. I have to check that for sure, but you just had this massive target on your back. Now, being able to come in here and go undefeated in the venue, it wasn't the same atmosphere we're used to. We're used to 800-900 people. We're used to a band. Cheerleaders, I thought, did a great job. Fans were loud. I know we maxed out capacity again. Boy, is it nice to be at home. Love being at this place. I can't wait till we can get the band back. I can't wait till we can really create that college atmosphere next year. But it sure was special being able to finish off the regular season here undefeated in front of our fans.
You're going to have your team bring the energy in this venue next weekend too.
Yeah, and we've had to do that before. We went to Temple. There were no fans at Temple. We've played places where there were no fans. And we always put that onus on the bench. We say, okay, bench, you are the energy. It's your job to bring the energy. And they've done it every single time like they were in the starting lineup and this was their role. And I swear to God, the most unselfish team that we've ever had. People just playing their role in practice. And then even though they may not get playing time in a match, they become the seventh player on the floor by spurring the energy, whether there's a crowd there or not. People feed off that bench. Our team feeds off that bench. The crowd feeds off that bench. I mean, hell, even our opponents have fed off our bench, but that's okay. We'll take that. Unselfish. There were 7 players, 6 on the floor, and then the bench was the 7th player.
Speaking of that number 7, I want to kind of go through the season. So we've established it. 14-1 regular season, 8-0 in conference. Not only were you undefeated in conference, but you lost a total of 7 sets throughout the entire season, which stands for the dominance of this team. Is this the best or up there for one of the best teams that you've been a part of in your coaching career?
No, it's too early to tell. I think you don't judge a marathon runner by their 21st mile. You judge them when they cross that finish line. So I'm going to ask you to table that question for another week or so, and then ask me again, and I'll tell you what my thoughts are. I'll tell you it's one of the most unselfish teams. I'll tell you it's one of the hardest working teams. I'll tell you there's not been a team that's had to overcome more to be successful than this team. Is it the best team? Time's going to tell. I can't wait for that time to happen.
Playing in Cincinnati again, you played there earlier in the year, maybe your best match of the year when you played up there and beat Cincinnati. Is that any sort of an advantage that you've already played there, whereas the teams in the West didn't get to play there this year?
I do think it's an advantage because anytime you go into a new arena, you have to get used to the sight lines. Cincinnati's a basketball arena, beautiful basketball arena. You got to find out where the lights are. The lights are very bright there. You got to find out where the ceiling is, where the scoreboard is. And so you have a practice where you throw the ball up and you hit the scoreboard. You want to see how high that is. You want to set balls into the lights because you want to see how a set travels from the setter to the hitter. Is it in the bank of lights? And so we know that now. We already know that stuff. It's a nice floor to play on. It's a TerraFlex floor just like ours. Last year I thought we were comfortable being there, but they were so good at that time that they really handed it to us when we were there. This year when we went up there, I thought we were really comfortable. I thought we were well within our skin. I thought we stayed within ourselves, and I thought we had one of the best weekends that we had all year up there. It's still, I think that was our best weekend of the year up there. So I think we're very comfortable going up there. It's not an easy trip. It's a long trip to get to. Cincinnati used to be an easy flight in and out, and all of a sudden it's become hard now. So We're going to have to take our time to get up there, just kind of get squared away, get our nerves under control. We'll go up on Wednesday. We'll probably practice at a high school or a club or something. And then we'll have the official practice on Thursday and then get to work on Friday.
Couldn't help but think when you were talking about for the American champ, it's win next weekend, or perhaps your season is over, but that applies to all of the teams in that. So they're all going in with that mindset.
Yeah, I think at this point for every team in the American, your next loss is your last match. And, I think character really gets revealed when you're facing that situation right there, one and done, you lose, you're out. And so I think now we go to NCAA tournament mentality, one and done. And it's just about, at this point, it's going to be about just win, baby, win ugly, win however you have to win by 2 points. Just find a way to get to 3 sets before the other team does, and just move on to the next round. But I know the NCAA is shortened this year by a round, but our NCAA tournament starts on Friday night. First and second round for us is Friday and Saturday.
Final question for me. Senior night, always very special for team fans, the program. Would you talk about that and Fabi?
Fabi, transferred to us because she wanted to be closer to her family here at home. And ironically, she came from USF, and I'm sure that has to be a weird feeling for her to play against her old team. Although a lot of her old team isn't there anymore. It's a completely new mix of players. But this is not hyperbole. Fabi Rebus is one of the most unselfish players I've ever coached in my life. Every year we give out the MVP award and we give out the newcomer award. We always have a coach's award that we give out. And Fabi is going to be the recipient of that award. She's come in here expecting absolutely nothing, knowing she had to earn everything, busted her butt, didn't get necessarily what she wanted. She's behind Jordan Pingle. And then she got behind Ari. Then she tore up her shoulder and she went through surgery. And so, she busting her butt, trying to get back for surgery just so she could play 1 point tonight. This kid has gone through rehab for 5 months just so she could play a little bit tonight and then make sure, she has a good quality of life when it's done. It's too risky for her to play volleyball anymore. And that's why she could only play a point or two tonight. Because if the ball goes wrong, she lands wrong, she tears her shoulder again. And nobody wants to take that chance because quality of life is far more important. But it was really important that we got her on the floor. And I was glad that we were able to do it. She even got to pass the ball. That was awesome. I swear to God, guys, I've never coached a player who is more team-oriented, who's more family-oriented, and more unselfish than Fabi. And I will remember that type of player for the rest of my coaching career.